Winter is here, my rosy-cheeked runners and bone-chilled bikers. And like Jon Snow, some endurance athletes still think that exercising in the extreme cold can freeze their lungs. Today, we are going to dispel this myth. Good morning, endurance friends. Matt Mosman, co-founder of EndurElite, the maker of premium supplements for endurance athletes, an endurance training and supplement expert. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It has been very cold here in South Dakota the last few days. We're talking temperatures not getting above zero for the last 4 days. Some might say it's as cold as a witch's teat. I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds pretty damn cold. But for the first time today, the temperature got above zero, and what we call that in South Dakota during the winter is a heat wave. But speaking of the very extreme cold, we're going to dispel a myth today that a lot of endurance athletes buy into, and that is running, biking, or doing other endurance exercise in the extreme cold it can freeze your lungs. Now, that's a bunch of poppycock. That's right, I said poppycock. And I'm going to use a little bit of science to explain why it's physically impossible for your lungs to freeze if you're exercising outdoors when it's below zero or just, really extremely cold. And why this is there's blood vessels in your nose, in your mouth, in your throat that, as the name implies, contains blood that releases heat that warms the air as it enters your nasal cavity, your mouth, so it warms the air up. Additionally, the mucus found in the nasal cavity, in the mouth and throat, helps humidify the air. So as the air goes through the nasal cavity, it goes down to the throat, the larynx, the trachea or windpipe, and eventually hit the lungs. Now, even if cold air did hit the lungs, there's such a huge supply of blood to the lungs that releases heat that there's absolutely no way that that air would still be cold or cold enough to freeze your lungs. So physically impossible to freeze your lungs during endurance exercise during the winter or in the extreme cold. Now, what can happen though is if the air is really cold and dry, like say you live in Colorado, there's a possibility that that cold air can irritate your throat and whatnot, especially with those with asthma or other respiratory problems. You may feel like a burning or a scratchy feeling in the back of your throat. Usually with exposure or chronic exposure to the cold, this will go away after a while. But in the meantime, it's highly recommended that you wear some kind of face mask or scarf that'll warm and humidify the air just a little bit more before you breathe it in. But the real threat, and a lot of you know this, to running in the extreme cold is exposure and what that can do to your skin. So the most sensitive areas that you want to protect when you're out running or riding in the extreme cold are obviously your ears, your cheeks, your nose. For you men, you got to watch the old Frank and Beans too. I highly recommend some windproof running briefs. My apparel of choice when it's really cold, a good stocking hat, a good windproof fleece-lined jacket. This is a Gore-Tex jacket that I'll wear. No wind can get through there. Good pair of yak tracks for traction if it's really snowy or icy out. Face mask, complete with about 8 pounds of snot right now. I need to wash that thing. Mittens, this is a lobster mitt. Your fingers have little buddies in here so they stay warm. Live long and prosper. You Trekkies will get that one. And then some Adidas running pants right here. Got my tight pants on. And of course, fuzzy running breeches. Just kidding. So really protect those areas when you're out running, as again, this is going to be the biggest danger of exercising in the cold. The last thing you want to do is get frostbite, like say on your fingers, and have to lop those puppies off. So that's about it for today, my endurance friends. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. Comment below with your best winter running and riding hacks. And then if you want more content like this, go to www.EndurElite.com. And until next time, stay fueled, stay focused, stay fast, and stay warm.